Have you ever felt like you were going crazy in a relationship? Like your reality was being twisted, your memories questioned, your sanity doubted? You apologize for things you didn't do. You walk on eggshells. You feel guilty for having needs. And somehow, they're always the victim. Always. If this sounds familiar, you might be dealing with a narcissist. And what you're about to learn in the next 40 minutes will change everything. Because narcissists don't just hurt you. They systematically break you down using psychological warfare tactics that most people don't even realize exist. Stick with me through this entire video because I'm going to expose every single manipulation tactic they use, show you exactly how to spot them, and teach you how to protect yourself. By the end, you'll never be fooled again. Let's dive in. Before we get into the manipulation tactics, you need to understand what narcissism actually is. Because not every selfish person is a narcissist. And not every confident person is a narcissist. True narcissism, especially narcissistic personality disorder, is something much darker and more calculated. At its core, narcissism is characterized by three things. An inflated sense of self-importance. A complete lack of empathy. And a desperate, insatiable need for admiration and validation. Now, we all have narcissistic traits sometimes. We all want to feel special. We all want attention. That's normal. But narcissists? They take this to a pathological extreme. Imagine someone who genuinely believes they are superior to everyone around them. Not just confident. Not just proud. But convinced that other people exist primarily to serve them, admire them, validate them. They see relationships as transactions. You're either useful to them, or you're worthless. There's no in-between. They don't see you as a full human being with your own thoughts, feelings, and needs. You're a character in their movie. An extra. A prop. And when you stop playing the role they've assigned you, that's when the real manipulation begins. Psychologists talk about something called the dark triad. 3 personality traits that often go together. Narcissism, Machiavellianism, and psychopathy. Narcissism is the inflated ego and need for admiration. Machiavellianism is the cunning manipulation and strategic thinking. Psychopathy is the lack of empathy and remorse. When you combine all three in one person, you get someone who is charming on the surface, calculating underneath, and completely ruthless when they want something. They study people. They learn what makes you tick. What your insecurities are. What you need to hear. And then they weaponize that information against you. Here's what most people don't realize. Narcissists aren't just difficult people. They're not just selfish or self-centered. They're running a carefully designed program of control and manipulation. Every tactic they use serves a purpose. To maintain power. To avoid accountability. To keep you confused, destabilized, and dependent on them. And the scariest part? Most of it happens so subtly that you don't even realize you're being manipulated until you're completely trapped. You think it's your fault. You think you're the problem. And that's exactly what they want you to think. Now that you understand what narcissism is, let me show you the pattern. Because narcissistic relationships don't just happen randomly. They follow a very specific cycle. For phases that repeat over and over again, trapping you in an endless loop of emotional highs and devastating lows. This cycle is called the narcissistic abuse cycle. And once you see it, you'll recognize it everywhere. Phase 1 is idealization. This is the love bombing stage. When you first meet a narcissist, they're incredible. They're charming. Attentive. They seem fascinated by everything you say. They shower you with compliments. They text you constantly. They want to see you all the time. They talk about the future with you after just a few dates. Soulmates. Perfect match. Never felt this way before. It's intoxicating. And here's the thing. It feels real. Because to them, in that moment, it is real. They're not necessarily faking it. They genuinely believe you're special. Why? Because you're giving them that narcissistic supply. That validation, attention, and admiration they desperately crave. You're reflecting back to them the image they want to see of themselves. You make them feel important, desired, powerful. So they idealize you. You become perfect in their eyes. Not because of who you actually are, but because of how you make them feel. But here's the problem. No real person can live up to an idealized fantasy forever. Eventually, you're going to have needs, boundaries, opinions that differ from theirs. You're going to be human. And the moment you stop being the perfect reflection they created, phase 2 begins. Devaluation. This is where everything shifts. Suddenly, you can't do anything right. The same things they loved about you. Now they're annoying. The quirks they found charming. Now they're flaws. They criticize you. Belittle you. Compare you to their exes. Make you feel like you're never good enough. And you're confused. Because what happened to the person who said you were their soulmate 3 weeks ago? The devaluation phase is designed to destabilize you. To make you question yourself. To make you work harder to please them, to get back to that idealization phase. You start walking on eggshells. Apologizing for things that aren't your fault. Changing yourself to fit their ever-shifting expectations. And just when you think you can't take it anymore, just when you're about to leave, they switch. They give you a glimpse of the person from phase 1. A compliment. An apology. A moment of tenderness. Just enough to give you hope. Just enough to keep you hooked. Phase 3 is discard. This is when the narcissist decides you're no longer useful to them. Maybe they've found a new source of narcissistic supply. Maybe you've finally set a boundary they can't cross. Maybe they're just bored. Whatever the reason, they discard you. Sometimes it's brutal. A sudden breakup with no explanation. Sometimes it's slow. They emotionally withdraw, becoming cold and distant until you're the one who finally leaves. Either way, the message is clear. You don't matter anymore. But here's where it gets really twisted. Phase 4 is hoovering. Named after the vacuum cleaner brand, hoovering is when the narcissist tries to suck you back in after the discard. They'll reach out with apologies. Promises to change. Declarations of love. They'll tell you they've been in therapy. They've realized what they lost. They can't live without you. And if you're not careful, if you don't understand this cycle, you'll believe them. You'll go back. And the cycle starts all over again. Idealization. Devaluation. Discard. Hoover. Again and again and again. The psychological impact of this cycle is devastating. Your self-esteem erodes. Your sense of reality becomes distorted. You start to believe you're the problem. That if you could just be better, nicer, more understanding, things would go back to how they were in the beginning. But they won't. Because the problem was never you. The problem is that you're dealing with someone who is fundamentally unable to see you as a real person with inherent worth. To them, you're a tool. And when tools break or stop working, they get replaced. Now we will discuss the 15 manipulation tactics. Alright, now we get into the meat of this video. The specific manipulation tactics narcissists use to control you. I'm going to break down 15 of the most common and most damaging tactics. And I'm going to show you real examples of how each one works. Pay close attention because recognizing these tactics is the first step to protecting yourself. Gaslighting is probably the most famous narcissistic manipulation tactic, and for good reason. It's incredibly effective at making you doubt your own reality. The term comes from a 1944 film called Gaslight, where a husband manipulates his wife into thinking she's going insane by dimming the gaslights in their home and then denying that the light changed. That's exactly what narcissists do. They deny things that happened. They twist your words. They claim you're too sensitive, too dramatic, imagining things. Here's how it works in real life. You catch your partner in a lie. You have proof. Text messages. Screenshots. Whatever. You confront them. And instead of admitting it, they say, "That never happened. You're making things up. You're crazy." Or they'll say, "I never said that. You're putting words in my mouth. You always do this. You twist everything I say." They're so convincing, so confident in their denial, that you start to question yourself. Did I misunderstand? Am I overreacting? Maybe I am crazy. Over time, gaslighting destroys your confidence in your own perceptions. You stop trusting your memory, your judgment, your instincts. And that's exactly what the narcissist wants. Because when you can't trust yourself, you have to rely on them to tell you what's real. They become your interpreter of reality. And that gives them complete power over you. The antidote to gaslighting? Documentation. Keep a journal. Save text messages. Trust your gut. If something feels wrong, it probably is. Don't let anyone convince you that your lived experience didn't happen. Your reality is valid, even if someone else refuses to acknowledge it. Tactic 2, Love Bombing, 12 to 1400 hours. We touched on love bombing earlier when we talked about the idealization phase, but let me dig deeper. Because love bombing isn't just about being romantic or attentive. It's a calculated strategy to overwhelm you, bypass your defenses, and create an intense emotional dependency in record time. Think about it. In healthy relationships, intimacy builds gradually. You get to know each other. You develop trust over time. You reveal yourself slowly. But narcissists don't have time for that. They need you hooked fast. So they flood you with affection, attention, gifts, grand gestures, declarations of love. They might text you 100 times a day. Show up at your work with flowers. Tell you they've never met anyone like you. Talk about marriage and kids after 3 dates. It's overwhelming. It's intoxicating. And it's designed to make you feel like you found something special. Something rare. Something worth holding on to no matter what. But here's the thing about love bombing. It's not about you. It's about them. They're not falling in love with who you actually are. They're falling in love with the reflection of themselves they see in your eyes. With the narcissistic supply you're providing. And the moment you stop providing it, or the moment they find a better source, the love bombing stops. Just like that. And you're left confused, wondering what you did wrong. Wondering how to get back that feeling. That's the trap. Healthy love grows over time. It's consistent. It respects boundaries. It allows you to be yourself. Love bombing, on the other hand, is a performance. It's too much, too fast, too intense. If someone is coming on incredibly strong right from the start, that's not passion. That's a red flag. Slow down. Take your time. Real love can wait. Manipulation can't. Tactic 3, Triangulation, 14 to 1600 hours. Triangulation is when a narcissist brings a third party into the dynamic between you and them to manipulate the situation. This could be an ex, a new romantic interest, a family member, a friend, anyone. The point is to create jealousy, insecurity, and competition. To make you feel like you have to fight for their attention. To keep you off balance. Here's a classic example. You're in a relationship with a narcissist, and they constantly bring up their ex. How amazing they were. How much fun they had together. How their ex never complained about the things you complain about. Or they flirt with someone right in front of you and then act like you're being jealous and controlling when you object. Or they tell you about how many people are interested in them, how they could be with anyone, but they're choosing to be with you. Aren't you lucky? This creates what psychologists call a triangle. Instead of a direct relationship between you and the narcissist, there's now a third point. And you're competing with that third point for the narcissist's attention and approval. This keeps you insecure. Keeps you trying harder. Keeps you focused on winning their validation instead of questioning whether you should even be in this relationship at all. Triangulation also gives the narcissist plausible deniability. If you confront them, they'll say you're being paranoid. They were just talking about their ex. Or that person is just a friend. Or you're imagining things. It's gaslighting and triangulation working together to make you feel crazy and competitive at the same time. Here's how to handle triangulation. Refuse to compete. If someone is deliberately trying to make you jealous or insecure, that's not love. That's manipulation. A partner who truly values you doesn't play these games. They make you feel secure, not threatened. If you find yourself constantly competing for attention or affection, step back and ask yourself why. You deserve better than that. Projection is when a narcissist takes their own negative traits, behaviors, or feelings and accuses you of having them instead. It's a defense mechanism that allows them to avoid looking at their own flaws while simultaneously attacking you. And it's incredibly confusing to be on the receiving end of. For example, a narcissist who is cheating on you might suddenly become obsessed with the idea that you're cheating. They'll accuse you. Question you. Go through your phone. Demand to know where you've been. All while they're the ones actually being unfaithful. Or a narcissist who lies constantly will call you a liar. A narcissist who is selfish will accuse you of being self-centered. A narcissist who is manipulative will say you're the one trying to control them. This tactic serves multiple purposes. 1. It deflects attention away from their actual behavior. 2. It puts you on the defensive, making you waste time and energy defending yourself instead of holding them accountable. And 3. It plants seeds of doubt in your mind. Maybe I am being selfish. Maybe I am being controlling. You start second-guessing your own intentions and behaviors. The key to recognizing projection is to pay attention to patterns. If someone is constantly accusing you of things that don't align with your actual behavior, but do align with theirs, that's projection. They're telling you who they are. Believe them. And don't waste your time defending yourself against false accusations. You know who you are. That's enough. No matter what a narcissist does, no matter how badly they hurt you, they always manage to position themselves as the victim. This is one of their most maddening tactics. Because it allows them to avoid accountability while simultaneously manipulating your empathy and guilt. Let me give you an example. You confront a narcissist about something they did that hurt you. Maybe they forgot your birthday. Maybe they said something cruel. Maybe they lied to you. Whatever it is, you're expressing your feelings. You're asking for an apology or at least an acknowledgement. And what do? They flip the script. Suddenly, they're the one who's hurt. You're attacking them. You're always criticizing them. They can never do anything right. You're so mean to them. They start crying. Or they shut down emotionally. Or they storm out. And now you're the one comforting them. Apologizing to them. Reassuring them that you're not attacking them, you just wanted to talk. The conversation about your hurt feelings has been completely hijacked. And you're left feeling like you did something wrong by even bringing it up. Playing the victim serves several functions for the narcissist. It avoids accountability. If they're the victim, they don't have to take responsibility for what they did. It manipulates your empathy. Most decent people don't want to hurt others, so when the narcissist claims to be hurt, you back down. And it trains you over time to stop bringing up issues. Because every time you do, somehow you end up feeling guilty. So eventually, you stop. You swallow your hurt. You accept their bad behavior. And they get away with it. Again and again. The way to counter this tactic is to stay focused on the issue at hand. Don't let the conversation get derailed. Don't let their emotional reaction manipulate you into abandoning your boundaries. You can acknowledge their feelings while still maintaining that what they did was not okay. Both things can be true at the same time. And if someone consistently makes everything about them, even when they're the one who caused harm, that tells you everything you need to know about their character. The silent treatment is emotional abuse. Period. It's not about needing space. It's not about cooling down. It's a deliberate punishment designed to make you feel anxious, rejected, and desperate for reconciliation on their terms. Here's how it works. You do something the narcissist doesn't like. Maybe you set a boundary. Maybe you disagreed with them. Maybe you called them out on their behavior. And instead of having a mature conversation about it, they shut down. They stop talking to you. They ignore your calls, your texts, your attempts to resolve the issue. This silence creates intense anxiety. Humans are social creatures. We're wired to fear rejection and abandonment. When someone important to us withdraws emotionally, it triggers our deepest insecurities. We panic. We wonder what we did wrong. We desperately try to fix it. And that's exactly what the narcissist wants. They want you in a state of emotional distress, willing to do anything to make the silence stop. And when they finally do speak to you again, they do it on their terms. You have to apologize. You have to promise to never do whatever it was again. You have to earn your way back into their good graces. They've trained you. And next time you think about setting a boundary or standing up for yourself, you'll remember this feeling. And you'll think twice. The healthy response to conflict is communication. Talking things through. Taking a break if you need to cool down, but coming back to resolve the issue. The silent treatment is not a break. It's manipulation. It's punishment. And it's abusive. If someone uses the silent treatment on you regularly, understand that this is not normal relationship behavior. This is control. And you don't have to tolerate it. Future faking is when a narcissist makes elaborate promises about the future with no intention of following through. They paint beautiful pictures of the life you'll have together. The house you'll buy. The trips you'll take. The kids you'll have. The business you'll start. All of it sounds amazing. All of it feels real. But none of it happens. Why do narcissists do this? Because it keeps you invested. It keeps you hopeful. It keeps you from leaving in the present because you're holding out for this amazing future they keep promising. Let's say you're dating a narcissist and you're unhappy. They're treating you poorly. You're thinking about ending it. But then they start talking about the future. Baby, once we get married, everything will be different. Once I finish this project and have more time. Once we move to that new city. Once. The future is always just around the corner. Just hang in there a little longer. Just be patient. It's coming. Except it never does. Because they have no intention of changing. The promises are empty. They're bait. Designed to keep you on the hook while they continue to do exactly what they've been doing. Future faking is especially damaging because it exploits your hope. Your dreams. Your desire for things to get better. And every time you believe the promise and it doesn't happen, you lose a little more of yourself. You start to doubt your worthiness. Maybe I'm not good enough for them to follow through. Maybe I need to try harder. No. The problem is not you. The problem is that you're believing someone who has shown you repeatedly through their actions that their words mean nothing. Pay attention to patterns. If someone keeps making promises but never follows through, believe their actions, not their words. Real commitment shows up in behavior, not just talk. Don't waste years of your life waiting for a future that exists only in their manipulative imagination. Tactic 8, Guilt Tripping. Guilt tripping is when a narcissist manipulates you into feeling responsible for their emotional state, their problems, or their behavior. The message is always some version of, if you really loved me, you would do what I want. Or, after everything I've done for you, this is how you repay me. They weaponize guilt to control your decisions and keep you compliant. Here's how this plays out. Let's say you want to spend time with your friends. A healthy partner would say, great, have fun. But a narcissist? They make you feel guilty for even wanting time away from them. They might say something like, I guess I'll just sit here alone while you go out and have fun without me. Or, I had a really hard day and I really needed you, but I guess your friends are more important. Or, fine, go ahead. I'll be here. All alone. Don't worry about me. Each of these statements is designed to make you feel bad for having needs, desires, or a life outside of them. And if you're an empathetic person, which most people targeted by narcissists are, you feel that guilt keenly. You cancel your plans. You stay home. You prioritize their needs over yours. And they've won. Guilt-tripping trains you to see your own needs as selfish. Your own boundaries as mean. Your own independence as betrayal. Over time, you shrink yourself smaller and smaller, trying to avoid that horrible feeling of guilt they keep triggering in you. You stop seeing friends. Stop pursuing hobbies. Stop doing anything that might displease them. Because it's easier than dealing with the guilt trip that will inevitably follow. But here's the truth. You are not responsible for anyone else's emotional state. You are not required to sacrifice your entire life to make someone else happy. Healthy relationships involve two whole people who support each other's growth and independence. If someone makes you feel guilty for being a whole person with your own needs and desires, that's not love. That's control. And you have every right to reject it. Tactic 9: Smear campaigns. When a narcissist feels threatened, exposed, or about to be abandoned, they often launch what's called a smear campaign. This is when they spread lies, rumors, and distorted versions of events to mutual friends, family members, co-workers, anyone who will listen. The goal is to destroy your reputation, isolate you from your support system, and control the narrative before you have a chance to tell your side of the story. Smear campaigns are vicious. The narcissist will paint themselves as the victim and you as the villain. They'll tell people you're crazy, abusive, unstable, a liar. They'll take things you said in private and twist them. They'll exaggerate or completely fabricate events. And because narcissists are often charming and convincing, people believe them. Suddenly, your friends are looking at you differently. Your family is questioning you. People you thought were on your side are siding with the narcissist. And you're left feeling completely alone and misunderstood. Why do narcissists do this? For several reasons. 1. It damages your credibility. If and when you try to expose their behavior, people will already have doubts about you. 2. It isolates you. The more people they turn against you, the fewer resources you have to escape or get support. 3. It maintains their image. If they can convince everyone that you're the problem, they never have to look at their own behavior. And 4. It punishes you for daring to challenge them or leave them. Smear campaigns are devastating. But here's what you need to remember. The truth has a way of coming out eventually. People who are manipulated into believing lies about you will, over time, see the narcissist's true colors. Your job is not to defend yourself to everyone. Your job is to protect yourself, surround yourself with people who truly know you, and let your character speak for itself. Those who matter will see through the lies. Tactic 10: Word salad. Word salad is a term used to describe the confusing, circular, illogical way narcissists argue. When you try to have a serious conversation with them, they don't engage honestly. Instead, they deflect, dodge, twist your words, change the subject, bring up unrelated issues from the past, and generally make it impossible to have a coherent discussion. You walk away from these conversations feeling exhausted, confused, and like you've been in a mental blender. For example, you might say, I'm upset that you forgot my birthday. A normal person might say, I'm so sorry. I messed up. Let me make it up to you. But a narcissist? They'll say, I forgot your birthday. You always exaggerate everything. You're just like your mother. Remember that time 3 years ago when you forgot to pick me up from the airport? You're so hypocritical. And anyway, I've been under so much stress. You never appreciate anything I do. All you do is complain. I can't do anything right. Wait, what? How did we go from forgetting a birthday to you being ungrateful and hypocritical? That's word salad. The narcissist throws so much at you so fast that you can't keep track of the original point. You're now defending yourself against 5 different accusations, and the original issue, their behavior, has been completely buried. They've won. Because you're not talking about what they did wrong anymore. You're talking about everything but that. Word salad serves to confuse you, exhaust you, and make you give up on holding them accountable. The way to counter it is to stay on point. Keep repeating the original issue. Don't let them derail the conversation. And if they refuse to engage honestly, end the conversation. You don't have to participate in their verbal chaos. Tactic 11, Moving the Goalposts, 29:30-31:00. Moving the goalposts is when a narcissist constantly changes the rules, the expectations, or the criteria for your worthiness. You can never win. Because every time you meet their standards, they raise them. You do exactly what they asked, and suddenly it's not good enough. They wanted something different. You misunderstood. You should have known better. This keeps you in a constant state of striving, trying to please someone who will never be satisfied. Let's say a narcissist tells you they're upset because you don't spend enough time with them. So you cancel your plans, prioritize them, spend more time together. And then they say, well, now you're smothering me. I need space. So you give them space. And then they say, you don't care about me anymore. You're always distant. You can't win. Because the goalposts keep moving. The target keeps shifting. And that's the point. If you could actually meet their standards, you'd stop trying so hard. You'd relax. You might even realize you deserve better. And they can't have that. Moving the goalposts keeps you off balance and focused on earning their approval. It prevents you from seeing that the problem isn't your behavior. It's their insatiable need for control and their complete inability to be satisfied with anything or anyone. No matter how perfect you try to be, it will never be enough. Because they don't want you to be enough. They want you to keep trying. The solution? Stop playing their game. Recognize that you will never satisfy them no matter what you do. And decide that your worth is not determined by their approval. You are enough. Their inability to see that is their problem, not yours. Tactic 12, Baiting, 31:00-32:30. Baiting is when a narcissist deliberately provokes you to get a reaction. They say something offensive. They push your buttons. They bring up sensitive topics they know will upset you. And why? Because they want to see you react. They want to make you angry, make you cry, make you lose your composure. And then they use your reaction against you. See? You're crazy. You're out of control. You're too emotional. I can't talk to you when you're like this. This is a setup. They provoke you on purpose, and then they punish you for reacting. And if you're not careful, you'll start to believe that you're the problem. That you're too sensitive. Too reactive. Too much. But you're not. You're a normal human being having a normal human reaction to being deliberately provoked by someone who is supposed to love you. Baiting also allows the narcissist to play the victim. After they've successfully provoked you into an angry outburst or an emotional breakdown, they can point to your behavior and say, look how abusive you are. Look how unstable. And if anyone witnesses your reaction without seeing what led up to it, they might believe the narcissist. This is how narcissists make you look like the crazy one. They push and push and push until you break, and then they document the break and use it as evidence against you. The way to defend against baiting is to recognize it and refuse to engage. When you feel yourself getting provoked, take a step back. Don't give them the reaction they're looking for. Stay calm. Stay composed. And remove yourself from the situation if necessary. Your emotional regulation is not their toy. Tactic 13, Withholding, 32:30-34:00. Withholding is when a narcissist deliberately denies you something you need: affection, communication, sex, support, validation, as a form of punishment or control. It's related to the silent treatment, but it's broader. It's about creating a sense of deprivation to keep you anxious and compliant. For example, a narcissist might withhold physical affection when they're upset with you. No hugs. No kisses. No physical touch. Even if you try to initiate, they pull away. This creates a painful sense of rejection and makes you desperate to do whatever it takes to get that affection back. Or they withhold emotional support. You're going through something difficult, and instead of being there for you, they're cold. Indifferent. Dismissive. You're on your own. And you feel that absence acutely. Because you would be there for them. You have been there for them. But when you need them, they're nowhere to be found. Or they withhold validation. Everything you do is met with criticism or silence. You're never good enough. You never get the praise or acknowledgement you need. And you start working harder and harder, hoping that maybe this time, if you just do a little better, they'll finally see your worth. Withholding creates a scarcity mindset. You're starving for the basic relationship necessities that should be freely given: affection, support, validation. And that scarcity makes those things more valuable to you. So when the narcissist occasionally throws you a crumb, you're so grateful. You cling to it. You remember it. You use it to justify staying in the relationship. See, they do care. They do love me. But sporadic crumbs are not love. Withholding basic relationship needs is not love. It's manipulation. In a healthy relationship, affection, support, and validation are given freely and consistently. They're not weapons. They're not rewards you have to earn. They're the foundation. If you're in a relationship where you're constantly starved for basic emotional needs, that's not a relationship. That's a hostage situation. Tactic 14, Flying Monkeys. Flying monkeys is a term from The Wizard of Oz. It refers to the people a narcissist recruits to do their bidding, spread their lies, harass you on their behalf, or otherwise support their agenda. These are often mutual friends, family members, or anyone the narcissist has successfully manipulated into believing their version of events. Flying monkeys serve several purposes for the narcissist. They extend the narcissist's reach. The narcissist can't be everywhere at once, but their flying monkeys can. They gather information. They report back on what you're doing, who you're seeing, what you're saying. They harass and intimidate. They send messages on the narcissist's behalf. They confront you in public. They pressure you to reconcile or apologize. And they validate the narcissist's narrative. The more people who believe the narcissist's lies, the more credible those lies become. And the more isolated and crazy you feel. Flying monkeys don't usually realize they're being used. They genuinely believe they're helping a friend or family member. The narcissist has convinced them that you're the villain. That you hurt them. That you're being unreasonable. And now these well-meaning people are doing the narcissist's dirty work. How do you deal with flying monkeys? First, recognize them for what they are. These people are not neutral. They're operating on false information. Don't waste your energy trying to convince them of the truth. They're not interested in the truth. They're interested in supporting the narcissist. Second, set boundaries. You don't have to engage with anyone who is harassing you on someone else's behalf. Block them. Avoid them. Protect your peace. And third, remember that anyone who would attack you without hearing your side of the story is not your friend. Let them go. Tactic 15, DARVO, 35:30-37:00. DARVO stands for deny, attack, and reverse victim and offender. It's a reaction pattern narcissists use when they're confronted with their bad behavior. Let me break it down. First, deny. You confront them about something they did. They flat out deny it. It didn't happen. You're imagining things. You're remembering wrong. Even if you have evidence, they deny it. Second, attack. Instead of addressing your concern, they attack you. You're too sensitive. You're crazy. You're always starting drama. You're the one with the problem, not them. And third, reverse victim and offender. Suddenly, they're the victim and you're the perpetrator. They're the one being attacked. You're the one being abusive by even bringing this up. DARVO is incredibly disorienting. You came into the conversation as the person who was wronged. You had a legitimate grievance. And somehow, by the end of the conversation, you're apologizing to them. You're the bad guy. They're the victim. How did that happen? It happened because they used DARVO to flip the script. And it works because it exploits your empathy and your desire to be fair. You don't want to be abusive. You don't want to be the bad guy. So when they frame you that way, you back down. The antidote to DARVO is to recognize it and hold firm. Don't let them deny what happened. Don't let them attack you into silence. And don't let them reverse the victim and offender. Stay focused on the facts. You have a right to address issues in a relationship. If someone consistently responds to your concerns with DARVO, they're telling you that they will never take accountability. And you have to decide if that's someone you want in your life. Tactic 15, DARVO. DARVO stands for deny, attack, and reverse victim and offender. It's a reaction pattern narcissists use when they're confronted with their bad behavior. Let me break it down. First, deny. You confront them about something they did. They flat out deny it. It didn't happen. You're imagining things. You're remembering wrong. Even if you have evidence, they deny it. Second, attack. Instead of addressing your concern, they attack you. You're too sensitive. You're crazy. You're always starting drama. You're the one with the problem, not them. And third, reverse victim and offender. Suddenly, they're the victim and you're the perpetrator. They're the one being attacked. You're the one being abusive by even bringing this up. DARVO is incredibly disorienting. You came into the conversation as the person who was wronged. You had a legitimate grievance. And somehow, by the end of the conversation, you're apologizing to them. You're the bad guy. They're the victim. How did that happen? It happened because they used DARVO to flip the script. And it works because it exploits your empathy and your desire to be fair. You don't want to be abusive. You don't want to be the bad guy. So when they frame you that way, you back down. The antidote to DARVO is to recognize it and hold firm. Don't let them deny what happened. Don't let them attack you into silence. And don't let them reverse the victim and offender. Stay focused on the facts. You have a right to address issues in a relationship. If someone consistently responds to your concerns with DARVO, they're telling you that they will never take accountability. And you have to decide if that's someone you want in your life.